Well, let me tell you how excited it is to get back out there on that football field with these guys. And, man, you could just feel the energy. You could feel the excitement. You've been feeling it around the office for probably about the last 10 days. And when these guys were able to come back in yesterday and had our big weigh-in and just the overall atmosphere, starting last night with our big team meeting and going through our expectations was different. A lot more comfortable. I think you saw that with a coaching staff out there today. Everybody was more comfortable in their environment and their surroundings, and the players were more comfortable. They understood exactly what we were asking of them. But a lot of great energy, a lot of excitement. Guys are really are glad to be back and around each other and around our staff and ready to get this season kicked off. So a lot of new faces, new numbers. And obviously just that new energy that's out there. So I'm excited. I thought we had a really good day one, and that's what it was a day one. And tomorrow we'll get back out here and we'll have another day one. And that's our challenge, this football team, is to keep that energy and keep that attack mode of 100% of the time when they step across that red line, and that's what they're doing. And so I'm excited. Coming out of day one will be a quick turn and back out here on the practice field in the morning, and we'll continue to strain them as you do in fall camp. So with that, I'll open up.
We'll get back to you.
First impressions of the quarterbacks day one.
I was very impressed. I was very impressed. They were all working together. They were very accurate in communicating when something wasn't right or they didn't like a look. They were talking to each other. I was very impressed. I thought the ball jumped out of all their hands extremely well. I thought we were, again, accurate. We pushed the ball down the field early in practice and challenged them late in practice in some team settings, and we hit some deep balls down the sidelines. Some guys did. So day one I thought was really well, really good.
About Nick and KJ specifically, two of the newer guys we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, dealing with Nick and KJ, really their first time out there in a setting where the whole team is, for a practice. I was pleased. I was really pleased with KJ. I thought that he definitely you could tell he had been working this summer as Nick and grasping, our install for the day. I thought it came very natural to KJ, especially on some of our zone reads. I thought he looked really comfortable doing that. Now there's some techniques and some intricate details we got to get. Same way with Nick. Getting Nick to understand what the answers are out on the edge if the ball is pulled. But I was pleased with both of them, and I think they're both well ahead. I knew Nick would be, but I thought KJ was well ahead of where I thought he would be, especially for day one.
Hey, Chad, how do you think it's going to help Sosa being strictly inside? How do you like him there? And what do you think about the defensive tackles in general? You got TJ and Marshall and then the younger guys behind them.
Yeah, I thought that I thought you noticed a big difference last spring with Sosa moving inside and making that commitment. Him choosing to come back and strictly move inside and take the role that Chief and our defensive staff have asked of him. And he bought fully in. He changed it and continued to add really good weight. I got up to, I think he's right at 300 and as strong as he's ever been, as fast as he's ever been. And if the spring was any indication of how disruptive he could be this fall, he'll have a great fall. He'll continue to put the hard work in and the expectations we're asking of him. But I can promise you, our expectations of him is not. He's got higher expectations for himself for this year. So I'm excited about Sosa. I think that Jonathan Marshall, the guy's the strongest guy on our football team. He's got a 30-something, 31, 32-inch vertical jump. He's explosive. As I've shared with him, now's the time. Okay, we got to take that and put it on the football field. And TJ Smith, obviously a leader of this football team, very driven. And I think that interior rotation, I hadn't had a chance. I wasn't on the field that was working with some of the true freshmen that we brought in. I'll be able to watch them tonight. Just listening to coaches talk, I think they were very impressed with some of the defensive line interior guys that was working in some team settings on the other field. But I think we obviously have an opportunity to have some depth in that position.
Yeah, the running back situation, I know you got depth there. How do you think that's going to play in, like the mixture, being able to get those guys enough touches? And what do you like about them?
Yeah, fall camp's long now. And, we're just in shorts, and everybody's an All-American when you're in shorts right now. But when the pads come on and you're about day 9 of camp, you'll find out a lot about people. You'll find out a lot about our running backs and our quarterbacks and our D-line. You'll find out a lot about people. But, day 1, I think we had 2 fields working. We got plenty of reps. Everybody was getting reps today, and that's by design. We have to develop depth on this football team. So we'll see. I mean, it's all about putting that ball in the end zone, and whoever can get the ball in the end zone the best is who's going to play. And if you can't get the ball in the end zone, then you can't play. So we do have depth, and we're blessed at that position. And as well as I do the physicality of this league. You're going to need depth at that position.
Coach, I didn't notice any green or yellows on the field today, but anyone that's being held out at the moment with maybe longer-term injuries that won't be able to go?
No, everybody was healthy today. Noah Gatlin went down about 3/4 through practice, and we'll reevaluate him and hope to get him back. But we had 110 out there, and 110 were healthy and ready to go.
Just with the quarterback situation, because Hicks kind of really took command last spring, is there any worry about opening up again, where maybe you start the year kind of in between like you were last year with Kelly and Story?
I don't anticipate that. I really don't. I think that fall camp's going to work it out. We would love to have a guy in place sooner than later, but if we don't, then we don't. But when we get to that first game, we would love to have a guy, and this is our guy, and we're gonna run with it. I do know that we're going to have them all to be successful. So we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds. I mean, what I saw today, I think I think we've got a great battle ahead of us, and I think that that position in itself is elevated everybody.
There's a perception out there that when y'all came in last year that some guys didn't really buy in. Is that a fair assessment, and can you quantify maybe how much this team may be buying in?
Well, I don't want to go back to last year. I mean, the guys last year, those guys, they didn't ask for a coaching change, and change is hard. Change is hard when you've been recruited to a certain style and you're recruited by certain coaches and you've gone through a couple of coordinators or a couple of 2 or 3 strength coaches. That's tough. That's tough on a young man. And, when we came in, we brought a whole different style of training, style of offense, style of defense. And when that happens and you got an older player, they've gone through a lot of change, and so it's really hard to sit and go, man, I got 4 months left. God, here I go again. So I don't think anybody. I really don't think anybody said I'm not buying in. I don't think from the time we got here to the time we got into the season, there was enough time to build the relationship and the trust to have a complete buy-in. And I don't think that's just for this football team. I think that goes across to changes across. When you see coaching changes all across at all levels. We've been together now 18 months. They know exactly what we expect. They know how we train. They know what our standard is. And there's no doubt in my mind that this football team is obviously more full capacity than we were a year ago. And you would expect that. I expected that when I stepped out on that field. And you see it and you feel it. I feel it. I walked in here yesterday, I felt it. We come back in the team, I feel it. These guys are ready, and our culture's never been stronger. And we've got to do the things in college football that everybody else is doing, but we got to do them better. And it's the little things.
You brought in a lot of depth at wide receiver, at height at wide receiver in this recruiting class. First impressions when you looked at them, when you guys were throwing today, does that height stick out right away for you?
Well, when I walked out there, I guess we had just got into walkthrough, and I made an attempt. I was going to look over there. I want to see what it looked like, and to look over there and go, okay, wow, we've definitely increased some size in which we had to have. So I thought from that standpoint, it was I was pleased, watching them out there performing. It was different. It was a lot different. And we got some guys that are really running. They're really pushing each other, and so we'll see. But that was by design. We had to go get bigger and faster.
Just a couple of guys specifically with TQ and Traylon Burks. We haven't seen those guys yet. And then Hudson Henry, what were your initial impressions on those three?
Yeah, as true freshmen, you would think, okay, they're going to be swimming a little bit. And I didn't see that today. They made a few mistakes, but I thought they were prepared. I thought that they were very focused. And I think that they did some really good things today. I'd be interested to watch the film tonight to see how that they did. But I mean, again, for day one, I was pleased with those guys.
Yeah, Coach, following up on what Trey said with the freshmen, watching Trey Knox today, obviously super talented guy physically. He's also very, very dynamic vocally. And just wondering, do you welcome your freshmen, these really exceptional guys, to come in and be talkers and be leaders? Are you fine with that? Do you look for that in young players like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We tell our guys all the time, when we recruit you, we want you to be you. If you wear a cowboy hat and a big belt buckle, come in here wearing a cowboy hat and a big belt buckle. Don't come in here and be somebody you're not. And Trey Knox, he smiles because he loves life. This guy truly loves every day he wakes up. And it's not a front. He's been smiling since the day he got here. And it's a credit to his family, and it's a credit to the way he views every day of life. And it's contagious. I will say that, because he gets everybody smiling. And so not only is he a really good football player, but this is a young man that's come in and he's raised the standard in that room with everybody. And he's made some of those guys that may be on that second tier, man, he's pushing them, he's elevating them. And so, and not just him, but we've got a lot of these young guys that are coming in that are doing that. We want them to be themselves. We brought them in here to challenge and to push and to create competition because we know it would make everybody better. And for day one, we've seen that. You can definitely tell this football team has worked extremely hard this summer on their own. Player-led workouts. This is as good a first day in grasping what the install that I've been a part of, and it's strictly their hard work and what they did and the meetings that they had.
Do you like the way camp is structured? I know it's the schedule you've got, but 20 practices over 24 days and a 5-day acclimation period into getting pads. What are your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
Well, one, I wish we could get some 100-degree days, a few of them in a row, because I think we need to strain them through some heat. I love it. I love the way camp is structured. We're in camp mode now. Look, we got them. They're here. There's no time limit. We're gonna make sure we get our meetings in. We're gonna bond together as a team and grow together. I love it. I think this is gonna be one of the best layout structures of camp that we've had.
The 5-day acclimation, you like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. When you talk acclimatization period, these young men hadn't been in helmets. They hadn't been used to hitting, and just to be able to get used to the helmets and then being able to get used to the shoulder pads on, you got to have that. That's for the player safety, and that's absolutely, we got that on point.
Hey, Chad, you lost 3 stars on the offensive line. Obviously, Yelda was really good and versatile, but Dustin was saying the other day he expects the line to be better, really has to be better. Well, what's your take on the line? You obviously have better numbers, better health than a year ago.
Well, we did. We losing Yelda and those guys, but the depth last year was just, it was an Achilles heel for us. I mean, we didn't have the depth. We had to cross-train so many guys, and when you do some of that and you have to do so many, it's okay to do a couple. When you got to do so many, it's hard to get really good at something. But they moving forward, it's why we recruited the way we did, and I think that there's no doubt that our offensive line will be better this year. It'll be better from depth standpoint, and obviously when you have depth, you have competition. And Ty Clary's got a lot of reps underneath him, so we expect him to be a dominant player for us. And so I think with that, and Colton Jackson is another guy that's the whole thing is keeping them all, trying to keep them healthy as you possibly can, and getting your work in and be ready to go for the season. But we should be better, without a doubt.
You mentioned last night a team meeting, I think you said expectations meeting or something along those lines. Can you talk about, go into a little depth about what that consists of?
Yeah, we talked a lot about the culture of our football program and where we are, and how fragile it is, and you know, the time and the energy and the effort that's gone into this football program, and when we, in the way we do things, and how that we're going to beat teams we're not supposed to beat. Nobody's given little Arkansas any credit, and that's okay. You shouldn't. We got to earn it, and we talked about respect and going out and earning it, and the only way you're going to do that is you got to have a culture that's so strong that it's going to challenge each other and push each other and do the things, as I mentioned earlier. Everybody right now is grinding, and everybody's in camp, and everybody's having their first day, and everybody's having a great first day. But when it gets to day 19 or day 9 and it's hot, now what are you? Because that's, you know, how you handle adversity is how you handle adversity. And so we've been preparing for these moments. So we talked a lot about that. We talked about our culture. We had an opportunity to really have some open conversations of why. Why do we, the talking time of this season's over. Why do we want to do this? Why do we want to get this, flip the script on Arkansas football? Why do we want to change the course of trajectory now? Why? And I asked them to talk. And there was some great dialogue. And so I'm excited about their why.
Now, you said Gatlin went down. What was his issue today in practice?
Yeah, I think it was his knee, but I don't know. It was 3/4 into practice, so we'll find out about that. I don't know how big a deal it is.
Jordan Curtis, was he out today? He's cornerback?
Yeah, you know, what we did from depth standpoint, at the corner position, we moved Jordan back over to corner.
Hey, Chad, do you have a timetable on naming a starting quarterback? I know you said you'd rather do it sooner than later. I meant to ask on the O-line question. I know, snaps had been an issue with Ty. I don't know how much he snapped today to the quarterbacks, but if so, how'd that go? How do you feel about Ty as he overdoes those snapping issues?
I thought our snaps were good today on the field that I was on, and Ty was on my field, or on our field that I was on. And so I didn't recognize anything that was just that I would have stopped and blew the whistle over. And then as far as a timeline of when we plan on naming a quarterback, I mean, like I said, I would much rather name one sooner than later, but I'm not going to put a time limit on it. It'll work itself out. It always does. So.
I guess Joe was saying the other day you guys were doing like 1s and 3s on one field and 2s and 4s on the other field. Did you guys do that today? And if so, how'd that go?
It was really good. I mean, guys got reps. Again, it's all about how we've changed a little bit how we practice for that reason, to create the depth. So one field that, I was on one field with the we called it the turf field with the 1s and the 3s, if that's what we're going to call it, and the other field was the 2s and the 4s, and Joe's with the 2s and 4s, and we got a lot of reps and a lot of good work, and we were able to go at a good pace to where we could teach and coach. So I was pleased with it, and it'll be something we're going to do all the way through camp. We did it in Skelly as well, so any team setting.
Coach, how do you feel about your tight ends room, maybe the possibilities there outside of C.J. O'Grady?
Well, C.J. O'Grady made some unbelievable catches today. Chase Harrell made some fantastic catches today. There was a couple that just come right off the top of my mind. He had to go up and make a catch over a guy on a contested ball. So I thought they made some really good catches. I saw Hudson made a really nice catch. So, again, these guys are going through day one, and we targeted the tight end quite a bit today. And so I'm sure that room will be good and happy tomorrow. So.
You said a few minutes ago was the best first day with install you'd had. Were you talking about as a head coach, or going back to your days at Tulsa and Clemson?
Yeah,
how much ground does that
definitely
cover?
as a head coach. Again, year 2, you expect that. And then the second part of that is the work that these guys have put in. We really commended these guys last night. Coach True gave us the keys to the truck, so to speak, and talked about every position was a key. And the truck was in the parking lot, and now it's time to go put it to work. And that's what we did today. And we're going to go do it tomorrow.